Bonjour, I'm from New York City, and I've been drawing since I was very little. It was a hobby for me for a long time, and until Starfighter, it was just a hobby. But now I'm able to do it professionally. It's been my passion since I was a child. Oh. So I'm very interested in romance and erotic art. And when I discovered manga, I really enjoyed shoujo art because it had the romance, but it didn't have explicit content that I wanted. And then, of course, I discovered hentai, which was very explicit, but it didn't have the emotional romance that I wanted. So eventually, late at night on the internet, I discovered yaoi, like many of us, maybe. And that was perfect for me. It had the romance and the explicit art that I wanted. And as soon as I found it, I just, yes, I was very, very interested. And I started collecting all sorts of manga and doujinshi. Oh, so the first drawings that I saw that were male romance was Gundam Wing doujinshi. Yes, so at first I didn't understand the concept of doujinshi. I didn't understand that artists would draw. I didn't know there was a whole community of artists that draw very, very talented works and draw this like male romance. So at first, when I was looking up doujinshi, I was looking up Gundam Wing. I came across doujinshi and I thought it was like official art. So. I thought it was like the continued adventures of a hero and duo. So when I saw that they were having sex together, it really was shocking to me. So yeah, that was my introduction, and afterwards I started to read fan fiction, and eventually manga. And Viewfinder was one of the first manga. Yeah. I feel like that's a big classic for everyone, right? Never forget it because Hiro puts a little film roll in Duo's butt, and I was so shocked. I'm sorry to make you say that. Please tell everyone. So yeah, that was very, very shocking to me. So I started the Starfighter comic very spontaneously. I didn't quite have like a full, like a plan for it. I didn't expect this at all to come from it. When I first developed it, I did want to make it a little different than maybe some of the yaoi tropes that I saw. I wanted it to be a bit darker, but also to have a lot of like casual sex, and for maybe the character tropes to maybe be a bit different from the expectations of them. But yeah, I am very inspired by the yaoi that I read, and I do love it very much. 10 pages planned, and I decided once. Désolé. I decided once the characters were in the room with each other, and I was going to have them have sex in the first scene, but then I thought, I named it Starfighter, so maybe there should be some fighting in the stars. But also I thought this sexual scene will be much richer if you got a better sense of the characters and their personalities and how they interact with each other. So I decided to make it a longer project. I think maybe 260 or so.
Donc 260 pages environ. En combien d'années?
I think from maybe 6 or so. 6.
Donc 6 ans, 260 pages, 6 ans. On est très très loin des 10 pages du début. Et du coup, comment justement on passe de 10 à 200 pages et Starfighter n'est pas terminé? Comment tu travailles ton scénario pour continuer cette histoire?
So once I decided to make the project longer, I very quickly had to come up with the rest of the story. Yeah, I really wanted these two characters with opposing personalities to both sort of like learn from each other, and to also for this character King to be involved with some sort of secret plan against Abel. That they start to there's like a big conflict. I wanted to all build up to this this big conflict at the end, which you will see soon. I don't want to say too much more about it. But yeah, after I decided to make it a longer project, I very quickly had to come up with the rest. Oh, sorry. Oh no, with the rest of the story. But I did have a plan from early on, at least where I wanted everything to go. But in between that time was a little bit flexible. There's some scenes that I decided to keep and some that I left out. I'm very interested in drawing them. In one of the comics, I think in the third chapter, in the scene with Abel and Praxis together, there's one panel where it's just Abel's like sex face, his like emotion, and his like erection in the panel. And I said that was my favorite panel because it had two of my favorite things to draw. Let's see. I have a lot of ideas for the sex scenes, and I feel like almost not enough opportunities even to put as much sex into the comic as I would like, but I suppose that's sort of what Eclipse was for. Because it's very much like a choose your own adventure like sex game, and that for me was like perfect. I was really, really happy to do that. I actually don't look at pornography very much. It's mostly, my favorite is like drawn erotica. That's what I look at the most. It's kind of funny, like in life I thought maybe, like when I was younger I thought like, oh, it must be very strange because I'm just looking at the drawings and not the people in pornography, but I've learned now that's okay, you know. It's alright to do that. Yeah, I was very inspired by the doujinshi that I saw and also the manga, but I also really like gothic and sort of fetish like style and fashion. So that was one of my inspirations for putting the fighters inside the vinyl shiny suits. Yeah, it's completely impractical, but I like how it looks. That's a good question. I guess, well, I named Cain and Abel obviously after the biblical reference, but as my first comic, I thought it would be easiest if I had these two characters that were sort of like a character archetype. So obviously, like Abel was all in white, and Cain was like the black, like the kind of like the lone wolf, like bad character. But I wanted them to have this setup where they were sort of like a stereotype of characters, but as the story progressed, you see that they have like different facets of their personality. So I'm not very religious, even though the names are a Bible reference. Although I do have another comic that I like to draw that's a knight and a witch, and it's also sort of based on this like kind of like a Christian and a pagan sexual attraction towards each other. I also really like demons and things. Tumblr, or if you have the books, at the end there's like a little chapter with like sort of like plot alternative universe where the characters are all having sex with each other. So I really like this. I like to switch up the characters and the pairings. And I thought, you know, it would be great since I think Starfighter lends itself to the visual novel platform, because you can, I like this sort of like polygamy, how do you say, this like polygamy. I like switching the characters with each other, and I thought it would be a great opportunity if someone was in control and you could choose which character you like, because obviously people have favorites that they want to pursue. So I contacted my friend who is a computer coder, and I asked him very naively, like, how hard would it be to do a visual novel, you know? And he messaged me back like, I'm so glad you asked me this because I really want to start a new company and do this for myself and like help creators make a platform for their stories. So it worked out very, it was good timing. And yeah, it was in development for quite a while. We were trying to figure out, like at first, like the logistics of how would we have the main character? Would people choose like what the character looks like? There was so much to learn and to understand like what's involved in making a visual novel. It was definitely like a very big project and a lot of work, but also a really great learning experience. I was really happy with how Eclipse turned out. The music was very, they made the magic themselves. I told them the personalities of the characters for each of their themes, and I showed them the artwork, and I tried to tell them, you know, they were familiar with the Starfighter comics, so they understood the world, and that was a sci-fi story. So yeah, they needed very little direction. But it was quite amazing because I feel like sometimes when we show them the drawings, they're like, oh wow, that's amazing. And then when they gave us the music, I was like, wow, that's amazing. It's like a very magical that they could do this. For Devil's Dance, I had this interest in like, am I out of time? Okay. I had an interest in humans and like demons that I really wanted to draw. But I think when I draw Starfighter so much, because it's all male, I sometimes get this urge. I want to draw, you know, like I want to draw like lesbians and like very rarely, I guess, heterosexual couples, and that was one of the instances where I was very inspired to do Devil's Dance. And it was quite funny. At one convention, we had the Coven art book that I put out, which is erotic art collection from a collection of different illustrators. But it has a big like pentagram on it, so it looks a little scary. And at my table, I had Starfighter, and then I had all this like satanic, like erotic art. And I was like, this is me. This is who I am. So I don't think I will ever stop drawing homoerotic art because that's really my passion. But I do think I'll dabble in like other sorts of like pairings because I'm pansexual. So I don't like gender for me isn't an obstacle, and I like to think of things in a very like polygamous and sort of like, I guess, a very hippie way. I don't know how to. I'm sorry, I'm not explaining it very well. But yeah, I have a lot of interest with also like demons and sometimes like gadgets and machinery. I also like. Where are the women? And I'm like, oh, that's a good question. There's not very much female representation in Starfighter. I wanted to establish in the comic that it's kind of casual for the fighters and the navigators to each maybe play around with each other, but not between them. I don't know if I demonstrated that very well in the comic, but that was my original idea for it. But I think I often get asked like, oh, are all the characters gay? But I think, you know, in general media, all of the characters are straight. So it's okay. I think it's fine. It's a fantasy to do whatever your heart desires. Okay. So in the Starfighter Eclipse game, Helios has an option on the second day or the second playthrough where he can change his outfit. And if you get this option, he has this very outrageous shirt that says boy toy on it. And so he thinks like, oh, this is my outfit. I'm going to wear it out for the day. I hope everyone likes it, you know, a little bit naive. So this outfit, when we were, it was, the change in outfit option was part of the Kickstarter funding. So if we reached a certain goal, you would get this extra option. So I was showing to the team like, oh, we need to give Helios this new outfit. And I showed, you know, like, here's his civilian clothes. And just as a joke, I made the boy toy shirt. But everyone on the team enjoyed it so much, they said, use that. And I said, oh wow, I didn't expect that to be like so popular. So we put it in the game, and I think it was for the best because there's a lot of funny reactions to Helios's outfit in the game.